Good morning, YouTubers. Good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are. I wanted to make this video, and I'm going to try to do this quick and hit right on the subject, and then do some babbling later, maybe. The subject is, can you shoot these cheap craft paints through your airbrush? The answer is yes. Technically, I suppose, let me turn on some lights here. I suppose you could shoot just about anything through an airbrush. Shoe polish, lipstick, you could probably put oatmeal through an airbrush if you did it right. And then the first thing that everybody goes into is, you got to mix these craft paints down. These are like $2 a bottle. These are about $3 a bottle. And they're all by this Plaid. You get them at the local Mart store. I'm not going to mention their name. And Apple Barrel is the one brand or name on these, and the other one is Folk Art. And again, about $2, maybe $3 or $4 for these. And yes, you can thin them. I see people online just saying, "Oh, throw alcohol in there." No, don't. Just the alcohol alone is not good. You'd probably be better with some floor gloss. See how thin that is? That would make a pretty good thinner, I think. I haven't tried. Could try, but no, I'm not going to waste my time trying it. What I found, I hit the learning curve, the apex of the learning curve there the other day, and you can see here's, I don't know, maybe you can see here's some stencils from some stuff that I'm doing, and here's one of my latest creations, Gort from the day the Earth stood still, the robot with the laser beam visor thing going on there. And basically what I wanted, well, no, let's not talk about that. Let's talk about the paint. Okay, so you can thin these paints. Don't use alcohol. You'd be better off using a polymer, a very fine polymer like this floor wax here. And that would make a good thinner. Or you can take alcohol, distilled water, 1 part alcohol, 2 parts distilled water. Maybe put in some additive like this Floetrol from Fluge. You get it at your local home store. Or if you really wanted to get dynamic with it, you get this stuff, Sealcrete. Again, it's a polymer resin, very, very thin. You could use that as an additive to your paint. I'm sure that would make stuff dishwasher safe. These folk art ones say dishwasher safe, indoor, outdoor, and even this one outdoor, indoor, multi-purpose Apple Barrel says dishwasher safe. I have not tried that. I don't know. But what I'm trying to get at here is, do you want to spend your time mixing all this stuff up and you're going to need a bunch of little cups and you're mixing all this stuff up. What I found the other day is the way these spray, you waste so much time going over here on the edge of your board trying to get a pattern out of your gun. The time you save putting a real airbrush paint into your airbrush is unbelievable. You're going to spend 90% of your time actually getting paint onto your board instead of trying to get your gun to spray. At least this is my opinion. So yeah, I guess these have a place. If I needed to do a background or something, a big background, or I wanted to coat an entire board with white, do a white background on the whole board, yeah, I'd get out my big cup gun. It's got like a 1mm tip in there, and I would coat the board, spray it outside in the yard. Going to be a lot of overspray, a lot of pressure. This will move a heavy paint through there, no problem. That's where you want to use these craft paints, out of a big gun, a big tip on a broad area. You are not going to get down and do little dagger strokes and little highlighting and get these to cover good enough so where you don't have to go back 3-4, and the dry time on these is long too. And when you're done with those, they leave a ridge on everything. You can feel all that paint everywhere. You can see it in the finish. I don't know if here you can probably see this. Look how glossy that board is. Even where it's sprayed, It's so clean. You spray it, you wait 3 seconds so you can rub it. Nothing, you didn't destroy anything, you didn't ruin it, and the finish is just so fine and clean. You can't believe it. So the other day, like I said, I hit that apex of the learning curve, and I just started using the Createx paints from start to finish, and I can blow out a whole picture like that in probably an hour or so. Of course, I got all my, stencils already cut and recut, tuned in a few things, had to change the shape of the shoulders here. Here's the one I did let me see if I can swing this around, show you the one I did the other day. And now I hung that up for a reference, so when I'm doing another one, I can look at it and say, oh yeah, well that neck's not right, that's the wrong shading, and it needs to be a little more of a piece down here on the curve of his neck, and I can kind of detail what I'm doing and get a better pattern of walking through the stencils and then going back and detailing out the ears and stuff like that. You're going to not be wasting all your time spraying and trying to get the thing to spray. You're going to put this in the gun straight out of the bottle. They say use it straight out. Even these ones, these are kind of thick. That's pretty thick paint. But it says apply straight from bottle or thin with 4012, which is, this is 4011, 4012, I got one around here. But that's what you thin it with, just real, I'm not sure what's in there, but what they make for that Createx for it. So, yeah, you're going to spend about $7 for these. Yeah, $6.49, Hobby Lobby, right there. $6.49. No, didn't mean to plug that. But Hobby Lobby doesn't have very many colors. You want to go online and you want to go to eBay. If you have an eBay account, get on there and look for Createx paints and find the seller Spray Gunner. Now I will give them a plug because I buy a lot of stuff from them, and I don't really know anybody there or anything, but most of the stuff that you see here I bought from Spray Gunner. And the point I'm trying to get at, go look for a 4-ounce bottle. These are 2 ounce, these are 4 ounce, these are 8 ounce, and then, well, you can even get 16 ounce. But it's like they say, the bigger you buy, the cheaper it is. So when you get a 4-ounce bottle like this for $12, it will do, geez, probably more than one of these 8-ounce bottles of the cheap craft paints. You're not going to be spraying another board. It's less overspray. Obviously, it's less overspray because there's no overspray on there. It's all perfectly clean and smooth. Beautiful. I mean, it's just as soon as I switched over to that, my stuff hit the next level. And I recommend, get you some black paint first, some Wicked Black, maybe some transparent base to clear that out a little bit to make it easier to shade with. Get some thinner, and then go for some opaque white or some illustration white. Now, what's the difference between, this is another thing I just figured out the other day, watched a lot of videos to get to this. Illustration colors are a little lighter. They allow you a little more room to shade, whereas the Wicked colors tend to be a little bit more opaque, especially if they are labeled opaque. If they're labeled opaque, they're opaque. If they're labeled transparent, what are they? They're transparent. Well, illustration colors are kind of in the middle. You can shade with them, but you can also get in there and lay some color down and, load the thing up, saturate the color, I think is what I'm trying to say. So what you're going to spend on one of these, and you're going to do a lot more work, and you're going to do it a lot faster than you are with one of these. Well, okay, and here's another little thing. If you really can't get anything better, if this is the only thing you can get and you want to practice some airbrush, go get this Folk Art Trusted Quality Enamels. It's a 4143E licorice is the color. And actually, this stuff sprayed pretty well. This is probably the best spraying paint of all the craft paints I ever tried spraying. licorice. And I think this was like $2.80, a little under $3 for this bottle. So if you can't do anything else, it's all you can get. Try the licorice. See how that works for you. And if you need to thin it, just get some floor polish. And that's your polymer right there. Now you could mix a little bit of water and rubbing alcohol with that to break that down a little bit more, but I think you'd probably be, I'm going to have to try that actually. I have used some of this before, but I don't think I ever used it as a thinner. So, but that's my take on craft paints. Now, if you want to listen to me babble, fine. Listen on. So, yeah, I've been doing projects on and off, airbrushing, just little junk for myself, just stuff to hang up on the wall. I got a death proof poster up there. I did that about a year or two ago. Just, again, practicing, playing around. Here's a UFO. I still need to put some weeds and sunset stuff in there. And, oh, I got a, yeah, you can't see it behind here, but I got a Chester cheetah hanging up there behind my hat rack. You can't really see him, but that was a fun little project. It looked pretty cool. And that's all out of the cheap paints, and you can see the yellow there. And it was fun because it had color on it. And when I got done, you could see the color and everything. Here's my big messy shop everywhere. And if we come in here, this is one of my dogs, portrait of my dog. I did this in 2002, actually. So it's one of my very first airbrush pictures. And if you get back here, it's not that bad. It's got kind of a almost photo quality to it. And then when you get up closer, you can see how hacky of a job it is. The sharp line there with no shading. The ear shading is a little bit goofy over here. Nothing inside this here. But again, at a distance, that's the other thing. Get back to look at your artwork. Oh, here's another one. Look, it's a copy of I guess you'd call it an artist's rendition of a actual, or said to be actual UFO photo. I don't remember the stats. I think it's 1966. I should have put the roof line of the one roof over here, and then there's some trees you could fill in to make that a little bit more complete. But I just wanted a UFO picture, and actually I shot that all with a cheap craft paint, and I think that's shot with that licorice paint right there actually. All right, so we're already like 12 minutes into this long, but this is the long rambling part of the video. Here's a test board, sample board, my practice board that I did probably a year or two ago. And again, you can see a lot. I'm trying to do dagger strokes. I'm trying to do dots with white paint. There we go. Dots with a white paint. You get a couple spheres here. I got Chiaki Koriyama, which is Gogo Yubari from Kill Bill, but I messed up the eye, made it a little too big, and screwed up the lips and didn't come back and finish all that in. Here's part of my company logo. Here, check out these eyes. Now, those eyes from a distance a little bit are not too bad. They don't look that bad. Out of focus, they look a little better. See if I can lose that focus again. But anyways, and this is, that's Rocket Dog's eye right there. I can tell by the color around it. It's my old red-bone coon hound who's no longer with us. Here's some, and all this stuff is just free-handed little skulls that I did and junk, playing around. And, oh, yeah, see the other side. I'm actually a surrealist, I suppose. Here, let me get this flipped around. If I can do it. Okay, so here's I just did this the other day. These are all practice lips I did, again, a couple years ago. Some of them aren't too bad. I mean, there's good parts, and then I screwed up and did black on there, but a lot of it's not too bad. Practicing. And then I did this practice cloud the other day. That's all cheap paint there. That's licorice, and this is some blue out of the bottle. But, sphere UFO clouds. Doesn't look too bad, actually. And then here's another shiny black ball. Again, goofing around, sample board. Yeah, got a little angry at it here. Trying to get some paint to flow, obviously. Got a little cool skull there with blown out spider eyes. Just a bunch of different stuff. The surreal part. So here's just a face I did, and then I got lips where the eyes should be. So that's kind of surreal there. And what else? I got the mermaid over here. Mermaid. Where's the? I got another one here somewhere. Maybe back over on the other side. Boob eyes. Oh yeah, the boob eyes. The eyes. I watched a thing on Salvador Dali the other day, and I noticed a few things on my stuff after looking at his stuff. The eyes are kind of on little protuberances there. Anyways, oops, didn't mean to show that. Don't look at that. That's bad. It's not for children, but yeah. Well, it's a basic line thing that I was doing, just trying to. That's just a free-handed little thing I did there. And so get you airbrush, any kind of cheap airbrush. I got some really cheap ones. Actually, I just got a new one the other day. Here, I'm going to show some airbrushes. Here, cheap one, Master Airbrush. This is probably one of the cheapest airbrushes you can get anywhere. I think I paid $27 for this 3 years ago. It comes with 3 needles, which are somewhere, and 3 tips. So you got a 2, or a 0.2, a 0.3, and a 0.5. I think I got the 0.5 in here, or maybe the 0.3 is in here. I don't know. Oh, there's the other needles down there. And quick connect on there, and that's a decent little gun. Like I said, under $30, kind of cheap. And so I found this the other day. This is a Badger 105, Badger 105 Patriot. And it's an American-made gun. I bought this on eBay, and I got it cheaper than any other gun that was listed. And it said last one. And you can probably see it already right there. See all the little dings on the edge of the bowl or the edge of the cup? I don't know why that was like that. And the needle was a little messed up too. I had to regrind that needle for about a half hour with 3,000 grit paper to get the little corkscrew off the end of it. And it had a little bit of white flaky stuff on the inside of the bowl, like it wasn't polished out. And so I don't know, it might have been a slightly used or factory return or something, but I don't think it was like brand new. But like I said, I honed the needle down, got it cleaned up and polished really good, and actually a pretty good performing gun. As soon as you start to rock that trigger back, it starts releasing some paint, and so you got a much more control on this, and especially with the better paint. Your trigger's creeping back, you're waiting for the paint to come, and finally it comes. That's how these paints work. When you start using, Createx colors, even right out of the... Hear how that stuff's pretty thick. It's thicker than milk, I guarantee that. And but it says you can. I put this in this cup, and it'll spray right through this gun, full thickness. Don't even have to thin it. I don't know. Well, I think it's because of the resin they use. It's some kind of split molecule or there's some kind, I forget what it was. I watched a whole video on it the other day. But it's just so fine of a paint. It's so liquidy and so much less overspray and so much more of the paint getting onto your project faster. 90% of this stuff's going to be on your board used. Probably 70% of this stuff's going to be wasted trying to get it to spray, mixing big batches of it to put in your cup to fill it up enough, and then throwing that paint out because it's not savable. Once you mixed that up and you used it, you can't dump it back into a bottle. And well, I guess you could if you want to strain it all the time, but you're going to find out this stuff gets lumpy pretty quick. And there's just, in my mind now, there's no comparison. Whoops. Pressure kicked on there. My mind, there's no comparison. Save your money, save your pennies, get 4-ounce bottles from spraygunner.com at least to start off with. because especially your black, you're going to use a lot of black. You can do a whole picture with nothing but black. So that's going to be where you start. Thinner, black, and maybe some, not that, gloss top coat or the transparent base. And then if you really want to do some economical painting, get 8-ounce or 16-ounce bottles. Save your money, spend it on quality, and you're going to be a lot happier, in my opinion. And it's like, well, I'm going to be a lot happier now that I'm using these and not these. One final last look at Gort there. His starburst came out really neat. I really like that starburst. Makes it kind of a dynamic looking thing. Basic, simple, iconic image. Kind of fun to do. Try it. Make a Gort. Cut.